How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I want to give you a warning for tomorrow. We just got some news about a possible Fed change. I want to talk about that. Also, give you some of the top news in the market. Also, talk about one of the sponsors that I talk about a lot here on the channel and how they just announced something pretty big that a lot of people have been asking me about and talking to me about it. We also have one of the top traders in cryptocurrency saying that he's starting to buy pretty heavily. So I want to talk about that. If you don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I appreciate that. I try to get you the information as quickly as possible. That's why a lot of the time I have people come to the channel and see stuff that they've never seen before, because I basically see it, make a video on it, and post it. I don't edit. I want to get the information out to you as quickly as possible. One other thing, there is a link underneath the video to Unstoppable Domains. They give you a readable wallet address. It's a great company to work with, and you can actually use this on a lot of different sites. It makes it much easier to receive crypto. So check out that link underneath the video. Now, crypto is falling a little bit, 23.2 on Bitcoin again. We kind of bounced back up to 24, then came back down a little bit. I just posted a video talking about how we could see worse than this in crypto and just giving some of the top news from the last 24 hours. But there have been a couple things I thought were really important to hit on. And as you can see, the market's falling even more now. We're down 4.5% after we kind of bounced up. We're starting to fall again because of some news that just hit headlines. Now, we are still looking at possibly going under that 200-week moving average on Bitcoin, probably down there for a week, maybe two, and then coming back up. We've seen it fall as much as 30% below that. Now, something that we've never seen on Bitcoin before is falling below the previous peak high. So that's going to be really the number to watch. Of course, if we fall under the 200-week, we're going to have to see how far we go down from there. And then 20,000 obviously is a big number to that we'll have to pass as well if we're going to go down past that. And then 19,000 is about where we were last market peak. So we'll have to watch that very closely. We don't want to break that. Now, liquidations are slowly rolling in, but like I said, they've slowed down a lot over the last couple hours. We pretty much just stayed in the same range over the last hour or two. Now, one company that I talk about a lot on the channel is BlockFi. There's also a link to BlockFi underneath the video if you're interested, but they said that they have no exposure to STETH, and they also exited the principal positions that they had in GBTC last fall. So a lot of people are worried about all the different exchanges right now after Celsius. Now, they did just announce something that's not great, but a lot of other companies are doing it as well. BlockFi announced a 20% layoff of their employees, and I heard this from a couple of people I work with at BlockFi. Unfortunately, this happens when there are bear markets. You have to cut down the number of people in your business. It's just kind of a crappy situation, but it does happen. And then just taking a look at some of the all-time highs, I thought this was pretty interesting. Bitcoin's down 65%. ETH's down 75%, BNB 67, and you can go down the line. So many cryptos are down a significant amount. This is why I'm talking about buying at least Bitcoin. That's what I'm really focusing on right now. I'll wait a little bit more on the alts, but I really am focusing on buying Bitcoin in this range. And if we fall down to 20,000 and I buy at 23,000, oh well. I think we're much closer, and just number-wise, we're obviously closer to a bottom than a top because we're at 23,000 and the top was 69,000. So fact is, I think now is a pretty good time to be DCAing. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't go lower, and I'll show you something in a second that might make you think that we're going to go lower tomorrow. But other analysts are also starting to buy a little bit heavier. Will Clemente is finding that he's getting the majority of his bids filled today. They might not be at the Pico bottom, but that's why he's happy. But he's happy to allocate here over long haul because price is below the realized price. The 200-week moving average was tapped. We basically bounced off of it. FTX and OKX quarterlies in backwardation, and then one of the lowest deviations from the 200-day trend ever. So obviously we've pretty much just fallen off a ledge. We talked about the RSI in the last video, but we're so oversold, and we haven't seen this since 2015. Michael Saylor also showing his new profile pic, just him with the Bitcoin eyes, obviously getting a little bit stronger here, stronger than ever. He's saying basically he feels stronger than ever about Bitcoin. And then we have the bad news of the day, the bad news of the hour. Fed officials could approve a 75 basis point raise. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal. High inflation raises prospect of bigger than expected Fed rate increase this week. This is something that we looked at today as well. The projections were much higher for a possible 75 basis point increase. So they're kind of walking that tight line. So the last thing is they say officials had earlier signaled plans to raise rates by 0.5 percentage point. Now, the Fed is in a very tight spot because they can't continue to raise rates without killing GDP and sending us into recession. Also, that does hurt their ability to pay back the national debt. So they really don't want to be raising rates, but they feel like they have to because the fact is that we have such high inflation. This hurts a lot of people. Companies, small companies, big companies with transportation costs. It hurts everyone that's buying food and gas and energy. Obviously, there is a lot of negatives that come with this high inflation. So they're trying to bring it back down, and they might have to go a little bit more aggressive. So over the next 2 days, we might have some bad news about this, especially because Wednesday we do have them giving their statement talking about what they're going to raise rates by. So we are just in for an interesting week. Obviously, the market's trying to price this in a bit now, down 4.7% on the NASDAQ here today, just utter obliteration. Crypto is down significantly as well. Also, it's going to be interesting. This is a time where I'm deploying capital into the market because I think over the long term, this is a good time to be buying and not a time to be selling at all. I don't think this is a good time to be selling because we already have come down so significantly. I mean, some of the stocks are down 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%, and these are good quality stocks that will be here for the long term and keep growing. Cryptos, same way. Obviously, we looked at some of the top cryptos, that how much they're down. I'm still not allocating into some of the smaller cryptos, or some of the medium-sized cryptos, right? I'm really just looking at Bitcoin right now. That's what I'll be focusing on. But let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to keep it under 8 minutes here for you. Check out the links underneath the video to BlockFi and to Unstoppable, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.